Hey guys, Akiba back for another episode of the SlateCast. Today we are talking to Danny Yang from OnChainMonkey. I'm super excited about this. Danny's got a massive wealth of experience in the crypto space. He founded the Stanford Bitcoin meetup in 2013, founded Taiwan's largest cryptocurrency exchange, presented an NFT solution to the government of Egypt in 2015, built one of the first visual block explorers for Bitcoin and Ethereum, has a PhD in computer science from Stanford. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we're all going to learn a little bit on this episode of the podcast. So stay with us, going to run the intro, and we'll be right back with Danny. Danny, how are you doing? Thank you very much for joining us.
Morning, doing great.
Great. So, OnChainMonkey, it was really fascinating that the way that we got connected. I think I'd actually heard about OnChainMonkey about 3 or 4 times that day. People were talking about it to me, telling me it was something they've been following for a while, something I need to check out. And since then, I have done that. It is very exciting. Do you want to give people a little bit of an overview as to what exactly the project is for anyone that is new to it, so they can kind of catch up a little bit?
Yeah, so OnChainMonkey was first created back in September 2021. It was the first on-chain PFP collection all in one transaction on Ethereum. So the significance of that and why no one has done it before us is that it's just very hard to do things on chain and also not use very much resources or space on chain because open blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum are a shared utility. So if you use a bunch of space on it on chain, then other people cannot. So we wanted to be very thoughtful of basically the resources used and everyone else was using something like this. So that was the art, or rather the art of doing it all on chain in a single transaction. And it's kind of beautiful to just have it done in just kind of one atomic unit. So that was the original creation that I did, and it was meant to be a standalone art piece, but a community quickly formed around it, and the company I had and where I still have right now, and the kind of focus of my energies is MetaGood. We adopted it to be our NFT community for our purpose of basically using this technology NFTs to empower communities around causes. And so OnChainMonkey is a community. Our values are RISE. You see that a lot from our community. When we say RISE, it stands for respect, integrity, sustainability, and enrichment. So we're about these specific values about doing better for the world. So that's been going on for almost going on a year and a half. And then this year, recently, so I come from actually, as you mentioned, I come from the Bitcoin world. Back when I started in crypto, I'm pretty much Bitcoin was the only thing, and still I think Bitcoin is the most significant thing. You have this, this digital asset and currency that is kind of money for the world. So this year, when Ordinals came out, or rather, when the possibility of doing NFTs on Bitcoin, which had been there before, but this one is just the right time and kind of also the right form factor. We quickly moved on this to get basically create. So OnChainMonkey also on Bitcoin is the first 10K collection overall. So that happened recently, and we're excited to be building on Bitcoin now too, where Bitcoin is the best store of value blockchain. Is the biggest one in the world. Bitcoin is the most valued asset and most secured asset by a blockchain and most decentralized.
So I'd love to get your take on that, because you talk about block space and obviously mempools and block sizes for Bitcoin have been under a bit of a stress test with ordinals, I think is a way to put it. Do you feel like Bitcoin is a place where NFTs should live? I assume that you do, because you're putting them on there. But just for those that might not agree with that concept, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so think of it this way, and first of all, what's beautiful about Bitcoin and Ethereum for that matter is these are all decentralized open systems, right? Anyone can build on top of it, And what you have here with Ordinals is, someone for Casey, he's from the Bitcoin world. Like, he's a Bitcoin maxi, as far as I know. He built something that people want to use as an application that is, kind of picking up speed on Bitcoin, and that's a good thing for Bitcoin. You want people to be building and using it, and what you'll have is, it's a free market. The price of things that will go on chain will go up, and basically it'll work itself out. Basically, things of value will get to what value it should be. So you'll have basically, high value digital goods and assets. So right now, Bitcoin has one high value good. It's Bitcoin itself. So you're paying fees to secure Bitcoin on Bitcoin blockchain. What we'll have going forward is also high value digital assets, where the data that's being written and stored and secured on Bitcoin, will have high value, and people will pay the miners, the appropriate fees to keep them secure. But you're actually creating more value that's being secured on the Bitcoin blockchain, and more people, and we're seeing that already, more people are running full nodes to secure, the chain. So you're making the chain more secure, more users. It makes sense if there's more value, that it costs more money to also use the thing.
Are you worried about bloat on the blockchain through doing this?
So I think the bloat will be because right now we're in this transition, and people are just writing junk, because it's still not too expensive actually to write junk on the chain, but it'll be more expensive in the future, and more people will be writing things that are not, basically people will be writing things that are of value. So then you'll have, basically people will be filling blocks with things that they think should be on chain, right? And it'll be priced appropriately. So I mean, if it's on the chain, then there's a reason someone is putting it on the chain.
Does that then go, again, just playing devil's advocate here, being counterintuitive to the concept of Bitcoin as a payment system, given
I think,
the
so the
transaction
concern
fees
is whether it becomes so valuable to put, data on chain that you actually make it very hard to transact Bitcoin, right? The native use of the Bitcoin blockchain. I think that won't be the case, and it'll still be this. And Bitcoin's the biggest use case is store of value. So store of value being Bitcoin, and now these digital assets that are not just Bitcoin. Yeah, in terms of the L1 chain, Bitcoin was never really great for sending $1 back and forth, right? But it's great for sending $1 million back and forth.
Yeah, and that's where you've got the Lightning Network that comes into it. From my point of view, it's that it encourages the use of Lightning, which
totally. So these are all. I mean, I think they all work together. Yeah. So I think people don't see the full picture yet. But then, yeah.
So coming back to just OnChainMonkey specifically, and the ETH collection and the Ordinals version, I believe that you said that anyone that owns one on Ethereum will get the Bitcoin Ordinal version. Do they have different utility now then? Like, how do they work in your ecosystem having two versions?
Great question. It's a complex space. So we think of the Bitcoin. So Ethereum and Bitcoin are very different blockchains.
Of course, yeah.
So NFTs on Ethereum, actually, using the smart contract, you can do, gaming and all sorts of different like membership utility type of things. Bitcoin, there's no smart contract, and that's by design, right? Bitcoin scripting language is meant to be very simple for security reasons, and that's more for scalability. If you have a universal computer on top of Bitcoin's L1, it just wouldn't work. So how we think about the NFTs, or rather the inscriptions of OnChainMonkey on Bitcoin, is that it is the store of value of the art. So the basically owning it's like, for example, CryptoPunks on Ethereum, right? CryptoPunks is about the art of the CryptoPunks, and they're stored in Ethereum, on chain, and people value it as such. And it has, CryptoPunks on Ethereum is decent, pretty high value, like one of the highest valued NFTs. So we basically created the equivalent of, OnChainMonkey was the first 10K on Bitcoin. just like CryptoPunks was the first 10K on Ethereum. And so how we use Bitcoin is that it is the store value of the art of OnChainMonkey. And yeah, so we see that how basically that's where we see the use of our OnChainMonkey on Bitcoin. It's the art, and it's the first 10K. So they'll have historic significance, and it's also done in a way that is very thoughtful of Bitcoin's other users. So not only do we put it 10K on Bitcoin first, we also did it in a way that was uniquely efficient. We put all 10K in just using 20 kilobytes of block storage on Bitcoin. So that is like a typical, regular transaction. It didn't, like, no one even was affected when we stored so many of our NFTs on Bitcoin.
That's incredible. So how are you able to do that then?
Yeah, so what we did was we inscribed the whole collection in one inscription, and we did it in a way that it was programmatically generated. So even though Bitcoin is not a smart contracting blockchain, the inscriptions actually can contain code that can be rendered and create the. So basically, our inscription was code, and any browser can read this code and be able to basically create all the 10,000 images, metadata, NFTs.
So the way that you see it then is that the Bitcoin version is just a store of value. So like we were there, we were a part of Ordinals early on. It's the first collection, and then the Ethereum one is the one that will interact with like any dApps or like rewards and benefits and stuff.
That's right, and also the Bitcoin Ordinals protocol is still very young. The wallets, the explorers, the marketplace are just being built out. So when they're a little bit further developed, and we're also working on tools there too, then we'll allow all our Ethereum holders of OnChainMonkey to receive their Bitcoin Ordinal. So then once that happens, then they can trade those freely on Bitcoin too.
Fantastic. So what else to do with OnChainMonkey? Is it exciting you going forward?
Yeah. So I mean, there's many things coming. We've also been building for a while. So it is we call it the passport to the wealthy digital nation. And the next one, the immediate things coming will be we're doing some art collaboration. So Alexi Andre, he's a creator of friendship bracelets, one of the very well-known generative artists, and he's doing a collection for OnChainMonkey that will use the DNA of all the OnChainMonkeys to create this amazing art, and that's coming pretty soon. Probably within the next 2 months, we should have that ready, and that will be some amazing art. And also we're looking at how to also distribute it on Bitcoin as like high quality art on the Bitcoin chain.
Great. So, what's your kind of view of the industry at the moment? Obviously, there's a lot of people that are still untrusting of the recent like rise in price of Bitcoin from the lows earlier this year, like 15.5, I think we got down to. We're currently kind of bouncing around 25 to 23 at the moment. Are you excited about sort of a potential bull run coming? Do you feel that we've hit the bottom? Obviously, not asking for any financial advice here, but just looking at the chain, being someone that's been involved in Bitcoin for so long, seeing these cycles day to day. How are you feeling about the current bear bull cycle?
Yeah. So yeah, I've seen many of the bull and bear cycles in Bitcoin, or I guess all of them. I've been around for all of them, and it's I mean, it's just part of how this the market moves. So the technology and also the whole like ecosystem is advancing. So I'm not worried at all about Bitcoin's price. In terms of timing, I can't predict the future in terms of when is it the next 6 months or next 2 years, but it's as long as that we have a long term time horizon, and we have no concerns there that these things will be back and much bigger than before.
Okay, politically dodged I'll frame it this way.
Yeah.
Does it feel the same as the end of previous bear markets to you?
Yeah, well, I say one thing that's new on Bitcoin, or rather new for recent times, is that we have a lot of new people who are entering the Bitcoin ecosystem, from Ornos, because many of the NFT folks who are now building on Bitcoin, they were purely like Ethereum people. Actually, some of them were onboarded to Ethereum because of NFTs, but they never touched Bitcoin, and now they're entering that space. And the Bitcoiners, I know many of the OG Bitcoiners. These are the people who were around before Ethereum even existed. Many of them never even touched Ethereum because they thought Ethereum actually is just doesn't work. And and now that there are these basically digital artifacts on Bitcoin, they're actually excited to see these grow and be adopted and see how this plays out. With competition for block space and fees, and it's because people are excited by the fact that it's an open system. So it, things of value will become more valuable and kind of work out in terms of the fees involved.
So, for someone that was interested in getting involved with the community, if someone was to ask you, why should I buy an OnChainMonkey NFT? I think they're currently selling for around 2.1 ish Ethereum. That's not an insurmountable amount of money for some people. So, yeah, why should someone buy? What do they get for it? How do you feel that the community's there to sort of make
Yeah,
represent that value?
certainly. Yeah. So I mean, it is. Well, there's OnChainMonkey Genesis and Karma. So the original one that you see is OnChainMonkey Genesis. There's only 10,000 of them, right? So like Bitcoin, there's only 21 million. Here there's only 10,000, and it's a very limited supply, and that is the membership into our community, and we provide a lot of value for our community, both. So one of the core values is enrichment, right? We take that very, like, we all stand behind it, and it's not just financial enrichment. It's your social circle, your health, your time, all these things. We're about kind of enriching our community and also the greater community of the world. So very much about giving back, and people are very, like, we have a very passionate community because of kind of the values we've created, and also the good things we've done, and not just, and also, I mean, it's not just good things for our world. I can talk about some of that too, but then, I mean, they're also excited because we have a very strong technical team who understands both Ethereum and Bitcoin, because we've been around before Ethereum, working on Bitcoin. So, and now it's really exciting that Bitcoin is the focus, and we're building for this Bitcoin market, which is much bigger than Ethereum. But in terms of the things that we do for good, one example would be back in 2021, Thanksgiving 2021. Shortly after we launched, there was actually world headline news of this woman who was Afghan, or she was in a famous photograph, National Geographic cover photo, right? Afghan girl, this girl with these piercing eyes looking at the camera. But that was taken in the 80s, so over 40 years ago. But she's a woman now in Afghanistan, and when the Taliban took over, her life, her family's life, were in danger because she's a Western icon from this famous photograph, showing kind of the back then when like the kind of lives of being in a war-torn country. So it was our OnChainMonkey community that funded her rescue from Afghanistan. So Italy, the Italian government took all the credit, or when the news broke, but it was made possible because of both our connections from OnChainMonkey and our funding. So the woman who runs the nonprofit Future Brilliant, Sophia Swire, is in our network, and so is Steve McCurry, the National Geographic photographer who took the photo. So we work with them to help rescue her, Sharbat Gula, and her family from Afghanistan.
I mean, saving lives doesn't really seem like there's a better cause for good than doing that and buying NFTs and saving someone's life and bringing them out of such a difficult situation. I mean, that sounds pretty fantastic to me.
Yeah, we're about giving back. We also funded a DAO, OnChainMonkey DAO, that has approximately 2,000 ETH that works on creating value for our community, but also giving back for the world.
Fantastic. So one thing I did want to get your thoughts on before we go is kind of quite a big topic in the NFT space right now, which is around royalties. You've got platforms like, say, Blur and countless others that are finding ways to either aggregate or remove royalties in general. What's your take? Because for me, as a lot of people in the space, saw NFTs as being this holy grail of a form of digital asset storage that would ensure creators get paid a royalty for their work, and that they can get paid for what they're doing. That's now seemingly being removed. Is that not a big kick in the face for the NFT industry?
Yeah, yes and no. So I think, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold.
That's right.
So royalties, yeah, definitely. I think the fight with the marketplaces and creators is unfortunate, but ultimately, if the creators or the or if like for us, we have an NFT community, and it's true that well, first of all, OnChainMonkey was actually a free mint. So back in 2021 when we launched it, it was completely free, right? No one had to pay anything for it. So it was royalties that made everything we built afterwards possible. So I think it's in today's market, it would just be a different business plan. We wouldn't like free mints like this are not. If there are no royalties, then it's not sustainable. So you have to just adjust to the market. I think the technology around is still very significant. I mean, we're very excited by crypto and how you can use it to create value. So whether it's with royalties or without, I think we can all adjust and figure out the right models for something that's sustainable.
Because I can kind of see it as a battle between the collectors and creators and community members and the NFT traders.
Yeah, well, I mean, if creators are making something that's kind of valuable for people, instead of charging royalty, they can just charge membership or something too. I mean, there are different models that they can start using to adjust for the market. I think just people have to adapt. Yeah, but yeah,
so maybe thinking about just move that part of the tech stack outside of the like NFT contract itself, because there's things like Access Protocol that's launching that allows you to like stake tokens for access to communities and things. So you think maybe just a bit more infrastructure needed?
Yeah, well, I think that's the exciting thing. People are building apps to solve different problems and create new business models. So I think it'll work itself out. Yeah, and I
Fantastic.
mean, we also saw just people abusing the whole royalty thing too. So I think that just helps us make things better overall, and we'll find the right
Fantastic.
balance. Yeah,
Fantastic. Well, Danny, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you in your little Unchained Monkey world that you are there in your background. I love that giant monkey head behind it. It's awesome. But yeah, so for the audience that isn't currently connected, can you just say shout outs, maybe some of the socials, the website where people can find more about the community and if they're wanting to get involved?
Yeah. Follow our Twitter account, our Discord. Yeah, we're around.
Yep. So I think on Twitter, it is just OnChainMonkey on Twitter, just all one word. Brilliant. Right. Well, for this episode of the SlateCast, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having Danny with us today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff that I've got to say because YouTube makes us. Yeah, thank you very much, Danny. It's been an absolute pleasure and look forward to chatting again with you soon.